Hi, welcome to my home once again. Thank you, Steve, for inviting me to this program. It's an honor. We're celebrating 250 years of the most wonderful country ever. Excuse me if I get emotional. This country was blessed by God. There'll never be another country like her. We, the people, are America. I'm proud to say I'm an American and that I was born in America. I want to tell you a little bit about my mother. My mother was born in a little town called Sampson in Missouri. It's Missouri, not Missouri. She was one of the most patriotic women I have ever met, and it rubbed off on me. She had a bumper sticker on her car that read, "America, love it or leave it. Don't let the door hit you on the way out." I know, Steve, I'm behaving myself. I'll be good. I want to talk about my father. He was born in Kiev, Russia. His father got his family out of there. They boarded a ship. They went to Liverpool, England, and then from there to Ellis Island. But on journey to Ellis Island, one of my father's brothers died. They had to throw him overboard. I can't even imagine that. They were coming to America for a better life. They wanted to give to America. And I'm proud to say, every one of my uncles, and there was many, they all served in the military to give back to America. I have traveled this country for a long time, doing patriotic events. I don't remember what state I was in when this particular man gave me something that he wrote, and I want to share it with you. If you saw the Flag Day 2025, you can remember that I read what the meaning of the Pledge of Allegiance is and what the meaning of the American flag folds meant. It got such a great response. I love sharing things with my audience. So let me read this to you. It was written by Don Doling. He was a Cold War veteran. Our country, 'tis of thee. Over 200 years ago, this great country was discovered, founded, and settled by a group of people known as Pilgrims. They were outcasts from their homeland, branded as rebels and criminals because they didn't believe in dictatorship, tyranny, or overtaxation. Instead, they sought their freedom in this new world. They sought freedom of religion, freedom to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. It is no wonder then that this great song was written so long ago by Catherine Lee Bates and Samuel Wand. America the Beautiful. Listen to its words and thank God for our country. And it is no wonder that men and women gave their lives defending this country for our freedom. Thus, the Declaration of Independence was written by 50 men, some of them well known, such as our first president, George Washington. Also men like Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison. These men believed in God and this country to overcome tremendous odds and stood up for what they believed in. It is no wonder then that we should believe also in our country and speak up, proclaiming our natural right to worship our God freely. All through our history, great men have been inspired by God to proclaim His truths. Abe Lincoln and the Gettysburg Address is one of the greatest speeches ever written. He says in his address that we have the right to be equally free, worship, and the freedom of speech. I believe these truths, for I have tested them and found them so. Let's all stand up for what God has given us. Our country, 'tis of thee. I think he did a great job on that. And then I was praying and asking the Lord what he wanted me to do for the rest of the program. And he reminded me of a book I have, and I was thumbing through it, and I think I came to exactly the right thing. This, what I'm going to read to you, was probably written in the 70s. In the book, it says it was written 30 years ago, but we believe it was in the 70s. And it is called Tribute to the United States. Editor's notes. This timeless editorial, written almost 30 years ago, comes from Toronto by Gordon Sinclair, a Canadian commentator. This Canadian thinks it is time to speak up for Americans, the most generous but possibly the least appreciated people on earth. Germany, Japan, and to a lesser extent, Britain and Italy were lifted out of the debris of war by Americans who poured in billions of dollars and forgave other billions in debts. Today, none of these countries is paying even the interest on its remaining debts to the United States. When France was in danger of collapsing in 1956, it was the Americans who propped it up, and the reward was to be insulted and swindled on the streets of Paris. I was there, I saw it. When earthquake hit distant cities, the United States hurries in to help. This spring, 59 American communities were flattened by tornadoes. Nobody helped. The Marshall Plan and the Truman Policy pumped a lion's share of dollars into depressed countries. Today, newspapers in those same countries write about the decadent, warmongering Americans. I'd like to see just one of those countries that is gloating over the erosion of the United States dollar build its own airplane. Does any other country in the world have a plane to equal the Boeing jumbo jet, the Lockheed TriStar, or the Douglas DC-10? If so, why don't they fly them? Why do all the international lines except Russia fly American planes? Why does no other land on Earth even consider putting a man or woman on the moon? You talk about Japanese technology and you get radios. You talk about German technology and you get automobiles. You talk about American technology and you get men on the moon, not once, but several times and safely home again. You talk about scandals, and the Americans put theirs right in the store windows for everybody to see. Even their draft dodgers were not pursued or hounded. They were on our streets, and most of them, unless they are breaking Canadian laws, are getting American dollars from back home and spending them here. When the railways of France, Germany, and India were breaking down through age, it was the Americans who rebuilt them. When the Pennsylvania Railroad and the New York Central went broke, nobody loaned them even an old caboose. Both companies are still broke. I can name you 5,000 times when the Americans raced to help our people, other people in trouble. Can you name me even one time when someone else raced to the Americans in trouble? I don't think there was outside help even during the San Francisco earthquake. Our neighbors have faced everything alone, and I am one Canadian who is darn tired of hearing them get kicked around. They will come out of this thing with their flag high, and when they do, they're entitled to thumb their noses at the countries who gloated over their present troubles. And I hope Canada is not one of them. Gordon Sinclair. I thought that was worth reading to you. Does it make you proud to be an American? It's the truth what that man wrote, even though it was written so long ago. We, the people, are America. We've got to stand united together so we can celebrate more birthdays, not just for ourselves, but for our children and great-grandchildren. I love America with all of my heart. I know this is not my forever home, but I'm here now. So I want to thank you so very much for tuning into this program. Again, Steve, thank you for inviting me. And I want to say God bless each and every one of you until we meet again.